since I'm at, talking to people who have been receiving the Nyingti Gyaji mainly, I'm assuming I'm going to talk more about the yoga or Anu-Yoga Tantra. So in the Anu-Yoga Tantra sadhanas, there are structures a little different. So I already said refuge always begins with it. Actually, highest Anu-Yoga Tantra sadhanas even don't need this, but let's not go in there for now. Standard ones. It begins with a refuge. And I have to say, refuge, I take refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, all that. But Tantric exclusively, the understanding of the refuge is we call it, to be, even understanding the very word refuge for Tantra is a little different, I would say. So usually refuge is surrendering, right? Surrendering, accepting, surrendering. I'm thirsty, so without the doubt, I surrender to this phenomena, because I know this is undeceivingly going to quench my thirst. I can trust this. I can trust this one, that this is going to quench my thirst. Yeah. Now, Tantric people, they think, yes, you can take refuge to this guy called Shakyamuni, who was the son of the Maya Devi, Shuddhodana. Sure, relatively, but this is a historical figure. A lot of it is a lot of that has your own interpretation, your own feeling, so on and so forth. So for the Tantra, accepting and surrendering to this deity and the Buddha we talked earlier, the unity of the emptiness and the luminosity, that which you have, your mind, that undeceivingly, it is the truth, right? Fire is hot. It's never going to sort of one day become cold and then next day again back to hot. It's always fire is heat. Your mind, the essence of the fire. Essence of the fire is heat, or the character definition. Appearance can be orange, red, and if you are distant, you are far from the fire, you will not feel heat. But the actual fire, if you touch, is going to burn you. Likewise, your mind that you have, yes, it's sometimes muggy, it's sometimes agitated, it's sometimes happy, unhappy, bad mood, good mood, whatever. But the essence of this mind is none other than the unity of emptiness and luminosity. And this you can trust. It's never ever going to change. So that is the attitude of the Tantric refuge. So depending on what kind of sadhana, and also, sadhana texts composed by different masters. There are some masters who may have composed the sadhana for are specific beings who may not still have a hard time chewing the solid food. You understand? So for them, things like the object of refuge, sitting on the lion's throne. Who knows why we are so obsessed with the lion's throne? One would think it's so scary to sit on a, 8 lion underneath you. But anyway, Indians, they like these things, elephants. And a lot of this came from India. And the Tibetans, they just buy it. They don't even ask questions. They don't. They say, oh yeah, it has to be good because it came from India. They call India Pakwi Yul, the land of Aryas. In fact, the Tibetans paid a lot of gold, offered a lot of gold, and asked them questions and asked them for teachings. But lotus? Have you ever thought about that? India, they have lotus in India. That's why, your lotus feet. What does that mean for a French? How do you say in French, by the way? Your lotus feet. What? Feet the lotus? And if somebody says this to you, do you feel like sort of itchy? What do you feel? It doesn't mean anything. Your lotus feet. But Tibetans love this Shabdul Pem or something. Some Tibetans, they just relentlessly write, even today. Every Tibetan, when they write to me, so and so Dzongsar Khyentse Rinpoche Shabji Pemi Dumdu. They write like these guys, they always write to me like this. In fact, I'm thinking I'm going to organize with the Tibetan Lamas and Rinpoches, Tibetan Lamas and Rinpoches, I'm going to have a crash course on how to talk in the WhatsApp. Because some of them, there's a guy, he's in Kalimpong, by the way. His name is Lama Chata. I have to actually spell it out, his name is. Please give him this message. Most of the time, I will receive about 10 messages. Okay? 10 lines. Each of them like 59 seconds. So I usually skip about 9. The last one, usually that there is whatever. So it begins with things like, you whose name cannot be uttered. Is that very Indian? Has to be, right? You whose name cannot be uttered. You who is like the sun and the moon, the combination, the embodiment of all the Buddhas, you who I sort of stumble into, stuff like this. Still they write like that. Same messages like this. It's a very, very, culture. Sometimes it's beautiful. Other times, especially if you're about to board a plane and you need to pass an important message, it's so annoying. Anyway, your lotus feet, like lotus. And Tibet don't have lotus. In Tibet, probably now they do. Maybe they have air-conditioned room. Never used to have lotus. So have you noticed in the Tibetan tankas, the lotus they painted are mostly wrong. It doesn't look like that. Most of the lotus doesn't look like that. But who cares? But anyway, how did the conversation reach to here? What was I saying? Do you know? Anybody? What? Taking refuge? Yes. Taking refuge. So, taking refuge to the Buddha, meaning taking refuge to the nature of your mind. for the Tantra, but also Shakyamuni Buddha, okay? Not excluded at all. Relative refuge, fine, still good. Taking refuge to the Dharma is not necessarily taking, no, of course it is taking refuge to the teachings of the Buddha that is taught by the Buddha, but also the truth of the phenomena, such as all compounded things are impermanent, all compounded things are impermanent, all emotions are pain, so on and so forth. But for the Tantra, there's another truth. Everything is just a deity. That is what you are taking refuge to the. When we say we take refuge to the Dharma, we are taking refuge to the fact that everything is Deva, or Guru, or Dakini. Okay, different sadhana. Now, Sangha needs a little bit of. Sangha is usually understood as the community, usually the Sangha is also referred to ordained community who have, sort of renounced mundane life to the, the life of seeking the, path that will lead them to liberation, not only for themselves, but for the others. So very, very holy object. That is there. We very much. That's a fundamental. But the Sangha, especially in the Vajrayana, is I think the easiest way to talk about the Sangha for the public, audience like this is. I'm going to borrow. What's the first name of Huxley? Aldous Huxley. I'm going to borrow his term, servitude. Servitude? That is the Sangha. Servitude. This. Servitude, right? Like, I need to call somebody, I can use phone. So it serves me. But the thing is, so I surrender to this. Internet, social media. But then when things get a little bit, and things get complicated, CCTV, what do you call it? CCTV. What do you call it? Yeah, CCTV. Yes, now it's getting complicated because CCTV, it's good for protection, but then, you don't want to be also photographed, right? CCTV, I don't know, shopping in Amazon, it's kind of, easy. You just order whatever you want to order, but then they know what you want. So next you get all this, and then you end up buying all of them. So servitude, I would say, for the modern people to understand is servitude. So I think Huxley, I think so, if I'm not wrong. I think Huxley and, I think Huxley said something like, basically, there's only one dictator. There's really, totalitarian. Real totalitarian is the servitude system. And it's very, very difficult because you want security, you want easy things, you want it's nice to have a, machine readable immigration, right? Immigration, but you also know they know everything. So this is what we have. So it's a system, or it's a service, I guess you can call it. And the Sangha is a big support. I'm not only talking about this kind of Sangha, which is also important because the support, you don't know page numbers, you ask them. You don't know where to go to deer park, you ask them. Probably they will help you, probably not. Most of the Sanghas are always a little bit rushed. You understand? So all of that Sangha, there's that. But when the servitude is all devas, when you relate to everything as a deva, then you are all together having different kinds of servitude. Servitude, I think is the right word. So, in the Tantra, the Sangha is usually all the Hansi Ladam Namo, they call it. All beings are Dakas and Dakinis. All beings are Devas. Therefore, and that is never going to falter. You just surrender to that. It's a difficult one. Anyway, let's finish with the refuge. So that's usually there is a refuge right at the beginning. Okay? And it's a foundation. You have to have it. If you don't have the refuge, if you do not accept that you have the innate deity, if you do not accept that you are the deity, sadhana doesn't work right away. The whole purpose. So, you could be doing the sadhana, but then it might as well just go to any kind of a theistic tradition that believes in God that is outside existing, who's kind of going to give you the reward or punishment or whatever. So, so that ingredient of refuge, that's one very important structure. Now the next one, bodhicitta. Oh, so important. Bodhicitta, such a big subject also. So, very, very, very kindergarten level of bodhicitta is, I want to help everyone. I want to really save everyone. I want to really give everyone massage. That level, which is fine. You can also visualize yourself into millions and think that you are massaging simultaneously everyone, stuff like that. Kindergarten. And things like all my happiness giving to everyone, all other people's pain, stuff like that. So, things like, I want to practice this sadhana to enlighten all sentient beings. That's like a junior high school level bodhicitta. And the highest, not the highest, but quite high, maybe master's degree level, is when you look at the sentient beings, it's like you are famished. It's like a gold merchant facing with a landfill of ore. It's all gold. So your attitude to sentient beings is like, oh my goodness. Buddha it's all Buddhas. Actually, the job of enlightening others, awakening others, the real 99.99.99 is done by the others already, because the others have the body, Buddha nature. You can't make it anyway. They have it. You don't have to upgrade it. You don't have to download it. You don't have to insert. You cannot. They all have it. This knowledge, having this attitude, gold merchant looking at a dirty, ugly ore, I'm getting so excited, just as excited as finding a polished, shiny gold. Like that. This is, master level of bodhicitta. And this is master level because this will not make you tired. Okay, you are trying to, help somebody who will really sort of annoy you. It doesn't matter. Anyway, he or she is already sort of, without my help anyway, he or she is good. So you will never give up. Otherwise, me trying to make this stone into gold, I will be tired after a while and I will be disappointed. It's never going to become gold. But if this is an ore, I can beat it, burn it, and then it will get, but of course, sometimes I will also get tired, right? Because I myself am not that perfect. But there's a very strong belief and acceptance that this is all, for lots of reasons. Anyway, that, highest level of the bodhicitta, knowing that all sentient beings are deity anyway, awakened. I'm borrowing Longchen Pa's word. All sentient beings are awakened. What are you talking about? Who? Who is not ignorant? Who is ignorant? All I see is Buddhas without any not a single one is not Buddha. That is quite a high level bodhicitta. That's the bodhicitta, ultimate bodhicitta. So that's the sadhana. So this exists in the sadhana, second part. Is that a sign of saying break? I don't know, you tell me, okay? When is it? Now? Really? Oh, yes. Okay. Just want to wrap up the bodhicitta, and the refuge and the bodhicitta. Just some details, like there is usually help, even though I have told you the essential part, there are always the methods like visualizing the object of the refuge on the tree. Oh, I have a feeling this is a very Indian thing. Indians love trees. I have noticed this. When Indian tourists come to Bhutan, I've always noticed they either take photos in front of a tree or a water. They love trees. I don't know. Bodhi tree, all these trees. So anyway, we have a lineage tree. You must have seen there's a big tree, and in the center sits the main one, and on the branches, actually, for a French, I don't know, it must not be that inspiring. Like everybody, like on the branches, like, have you been to Morocco where all these goats are sitting on the big tree? Like complete filled by goats. So I'm sure the French, connection with Morocco, when the lamas talk about the refuge tree, I'm sure sometimes the goat image, this sounds like a goat eating leaves. But anyway, this is cultural, okay? I can go, I mean, if you want me to, I can sell tree. I can say, oh, the tree must, not, like, must be tree, because the tree is this, that, I can, but no need. I guess it has a practical reason, right? To put it all like, in the center is that this, on the right branch is this, on the left branch is this. So, but anyway, there is that kind of vision. And yeah, what I want to say is this. Remember, I said method and wisdom? Remember? So in the sadhana also, praying, I take refuge in Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, or I take refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, visualization, the trees, method. What is wisdom? Refuge trees, all the object of refuge dissolve into you. You and the object of refuge become inseparable. Wisdom. So, wisdom and the method are the main ingredient. Okay, we take a break for tea. How long? Okay, 30 minutes.